Another one. Another one. Touchdown, Jags! Ball game!
Another Jags podcast.
Welcome to episode 71 of Another Jags podcast. I'm here with my boy Mike here tonight. How you doing, Mike?
Doing all right.
Joey couldn't be here tonight. We're going to see how it goes without him.
Yeah.
You know? Fortunately, Mike knows a lot about the running back position because that's what we're covering tonight on the podcast. If you haven't yet followed us on our Twitter, at Another Jags Pod. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Another Jags Podcast. We have to mention we are now a part of Overtime Media.
Ooh.
Because you can find us on the Overtime Media Podcast Network. You can also find us on the Big Cat Country SB Nation Podcast Network. We're all over the place.
Killing it.
I'd say we're killing it.
You're doing well.
But tonight we're going to talk about running backs. But before we get there, we're sitting here watching the NBA draft lottery. And before we get to the running backs, Mike, you're a big Heat fan.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Heat's pick?
Oh, anytime you can pick the Whitey, you can't go wrong with that. So.
Who did I say? Yeah. He reminds you of that. He reminds you of that guy that like is a fringe college player.
I don't get it. I mean, I feel like it was like making up for the Devin Booker pick a few years ago. Pat Riley, we trust.
So you trust Pat Riley?
You keep a lot of heat like Pat Riley.
Keep a lot of heat like Pat.
Yeah,
I trust Pat Riley.
Jesus.
And I'm happy to see that they made a move for a shooter. Right? They need a shooter.
I don't even know. He can shoot.
He can shoot. That's what he did. He's a spot-up shooter. The Magic drafted Chuma Okeke.
Yeah, I hear he has one knee right now.
He tore his ACL in the last game of the season.
Good Lord.
He may be good in 2021, right? He's a 2021 guy, don't you think?
If there's one thing that the GM of Orlando has shown, he loves those long athletic players, and he's done fairly well on them going back to his Milwaukee days. So, I mean, we'll see. Made the playoffs this year?
Yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah.
The Heat did not.
They did not.
No.
Scrapping.
All right, well, enough about that. Let's get to the running backs.
Yeah.
That's what people want to talk about. So we have some questions about the running backs. And if you don't know, this is a fan pod. We're fans. This is a fan show. We look to the fans for their comments. So if you have comments about the position, send it to us on Twitter, and we'll make sure that we read it because we basically just want to be like a portal for y'all. And if you have questions, we'll talk about those things. And then we want you guys to interact on YouTube Live. So we're on YouTube Live. You can go back and watch our shows. You can interact with us live on YouTube. This is a late night show like we talked about. A lot of the questions, because our fans are smart, so they want to know questions about the running back depth. But before we get to the depth, does not the running back position go as Leonard Fournette goes?
I mean, yeah, you don't spend a number 4 pick on a player.
But he's a couple years removed from that number 4 pick.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot of capital you put in a player. We gave Fowler a lot of time. We give Jokel a lot of time. That's a good point. That's a good point. So how important is Fournette to this offense's success in your opinion? I mean, you heard DeFillippo the other day. This offense is going to run through him. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to get that yards per carry up. But I do believe in him. I wasn't a fan of the pick in general, picking a running back that high. But he's definitely got the talent. So Filippo said that the offense goes as Fournette. Yes, Fournette goes, but he got fired for not running the ball last year when he had Latavius Murray and Dalvin Cook. But so how much stock can you put into that? Does that not fall on the head coach, though? I keep hearing that from Minnesota fans. They keep chirping. Doug Marrone's an offensive coach, and he said it himself. Every single call is going to go through his headset. So, yeah, I keep hearing that a lot from Minnesota. Yeah, but every single call went through his headset last season, and the Jags play calling was suspect. Yeah, I guess Eagles game, how many straight times did we throw it? Yeah, it was like 30 or 26, something like that. That's true. I mean, I just think talk is cheap, and I want to see what he really does. I mean, not to mention... I'm excited, though, honestly. Yeah, I think it depends on him staying healthy. I think that's kind of everyone's consensus is if Fournette going to stay healthy. But how do you think Fournette adjusts to playing in the shotgun versus being an ace single back type guy with no fullback? We have no fullback. I saw that question. How are we going to do with no fullback on the roster? Yeah, and we got to give credit to that guy if you're going to bring it up. So first of all, how do you think he'll do? We'll get to the fullback question in a second. Yeah. How do you think he'll do out of shotgun? We've seen him catch the ball fairly well. Going back to the playoff run in 2018, he caught the ball well, surprisingly well. DeFillippo, I think he's going to do a lot of good things. You saw his offense last year in Minnesota. You saw what he did in Philadelphia. He's going to have some. I think Fournette's going to go pretty good this year as long as he stays healthy. But out of the shotgun, I think he'll do well. His rookie year he caught 400 yards receiving.
I think it was like 300. I think he averaged like 20 yards a game receiving.
Yeah,
So it's not bad. The question is from Angus Seymour, and he's at Dasgus, and he says, "Does not having a fullback on the roster make a big difference this year?"
Yeah. Bohanna was pretty. I mean, he did pretty well, and
he did okay. I think I saw his like first catch of the season was against the Colts week 10.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a lot. A lot more goes into that.
I know, but still, I mean, you would imagine that your fullback at least gets a catch before week 10, don't you?
I mean, going back to 2017, he played a pretty big part.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But here's where I get hung up. See, the Jags run a zone blocking scheme, and really, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the zone blocking scheme, basically that just the foundation of a zone blocking scheme is footwork, blocking rules, communication among the offensive line, and as a whole, the zone blocking scheme is founded on principles of the offensive line either getting lateral or they're getting vertical. And there's not a lot of pulling, there's not a lot of identifying players as far as where you have to get to and reaching. Really, the bottom line in pass protection is just preventing penetration. When you change that, the scheme's the same for the offensive line, but for the running back, it's different, right? Like imagine being Leonard Fournette and think about all the runs he had at LSU.
Yeah, power.
Yeah. Behind the quarterback, getting the ball and just hitting a hole quick.
Does that attribute to the 3.6 yard per carry?
No, because I don't get caught up on his yards per carry because
that's all I ever hear. I mean,
I know it's so stupid.
We weren't fans of the pick to begin with, but all I hear is that 3.6.
I mean, I think he had 3.9 yards per carry in 2017.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's yards per carry? If it's 4th and 1, how many yards do you want Fournette to get?
Yeah.
And if it's 4th and goal on the 1 yard line, how many yards do you want Leonard Fournette to get? Yeah. I don't give a crap how many yards per carry he has in that situation. Yeah. I want him to get into the end zone. Yeah. So that's why I think the yards per carry thing is so watered down. I think there's so many better stats than yards per carry. To me, it's how many.
Though, I mean, that's pretty bad. It's not ideal.
Dude, we ran the dude to the ground.
You've seen running backs do more with way worse offensive lines.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you're the Jaguars, Leonard Fournette goes down week 1 with a hamstring injury.
Which he did.
He comes back week 10.
Yeah.
How many touches would you give Fournette in that game?
But I mean,
just answer the question.
He traded a 5th round pick for Carlos Hyde.
That's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm asking you. You're the head coach of the Jags. I want you to put yourself in Marone's shoes. Your franchise running back pulled his hamstring week 1. He comes back week 10. How many touches are you going to give him?
But did he come back week 10 though?
Yes.
Okay.
That was his first game back as a starter. His first game back healthy, ready to go. How many touches?
How many carries did he get?
That's what I'm asking you. How many touches would you give him?
How many touches would I give him? I mean,
given everything.
I mean, hamstring injuries. It could be on anything though. I mean,
how many touches would you give your franchise running back? Quit avoiding the question. How many touches? You're game planning.
It's a very ambiguous question.
It's not.
All right, how many touches would I give him?
Yes.
What is the situation though?
It's a close game against the Colts. We end up losing
9 games under 500. What is the situation?
It's week 10 against the Colts.
Okay.
You have won 3 games.
Okay, 3 games.
And you are
3-6.
Yeah, you have a close battle with the Colts.
Okay.
Where you potentially have the chance to go down and drive the field to only have Rashad Green fumble the ball on the final drive in the red zone to lose the game.
Real, so okay.
How many touches would you give Leonard Fournette?
Until he tells me he can't.
So you would go off of how many? I love how you just avoided this question for 5 minutes.
All right,
let's move on.
Okay, as long as the player says he can go, why wouldn't you?
Any normal person wouldn't give.
What's wrong with that until he says he can?
Because a player.
I'm not going to give him 40, but as long as he says he can play.
A player's going to have pride, and he's going to be like, yeah, give me every touch. You have to know that going into it. You can't give the guy
15, 20 carries.
You can't give the guy 26 carries
15?
and 6 pass attempts.
15.
Yes. And people talk to me about yards per carry, but this guy, we drove Fournette into the ground.
That's fair.
Over 33 touches in your first game back after missing 8 straight weeks.
The Bills?
The Colts.
The Colts?
Week
Okay.
10.
That's right. You're right.
They just I remember thinking it during.
And he played really well.
He did play really well. That was his best receiving game of the year. But you look back and you're like,
we should have won that game besides the refs. That was
Rashad Green fumbled in the red zone. That's what happened.
He was down.
He was not down. They reviewed it and he wasn't.
No, wasn't it not a catch?
It was a catch.
There was something. No,
they called it
that
wrong.
Ref was trash.
They called it wrong on the field.
I will never forget that trash reffing. I'm sorry. Anyways.
They called it wrong on the field and they replayed it and he defined the rules of a catch and he fumbled the ball in the red zone.
But in that game there was that one that it was. Didn't they have that controversial catch as well that he bobbled it and then dropped it after There was 2 controversial catches. It was,
okay. I know the refs were bad in that, but
horrible.
The bottom line is that this offense has made no bones about it. They're going to run Fournette into the ground.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad for the guy because they're kind of using him like they're not thinking about the future. That's what the rookie
contract is for, absolutely.
I hate that, though.
Thank God.
But think about the future for this guy. All right, well, let's get into some depth at the running back position. And this question, we have 2 questions about who's going to be the number 2 guy.
Okay.
The first question comes from Pete, and he's at Coach L Tweets. Yeah. And he says, when it's all said and done, what back do y'all think gets more snaps after Fournette? Before you answer that, Italian Jag at Joey Jaguar 98 says, who has the second most carries this season behind Fournette?
Okay. It's got to be Raquel, right?
Really?
Has to be. Bluey or Blue?
Now, Raquel Armstead.
Yeah.
Alfred Blue.
He did play well in spurts in Texas and Houston.
He's been that way
with a horrible offensive line. I'll give him that.
That's a good point.
But they did draft Raquel for a reason, and he does run. What I've seen, he runs hard.
Well, I don't want to get quite into Raquel Armstead quite yet, but I do want to address that maybe those 2 questions are actually different answers. Okay. So the first question was who gets more snaps behind Fournette. Yeah. The second question was who gets more carries behind Fournette. Okay. I think you might see Raquel Armstead get more snaps than Blue, but I think Blue gets more carries than Armstead. And here's why. Because Raquel Armstead is probably our best pass protecting back on the roster.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. He was rated.
I can never imagine that.
He was rated coming out of college as one of the best pass protecting running backs in the whole running back draft class. He had the second fastest 40 time amongst running backs in the draft. This guy, I think, will be a nice third down back. So I think he'll play a lot of third downs, but I think Blue will get more early down carries spelling Fournette.
Yeah.
So I think more snaps Armstead. And I was on Trebe Talks, one of our boy Trebe Talk. I was on his YouTube channel earlier in the week. We were talking about running backs, and I made this point. I said, Raquel Armstead is going to be that guy that at the end of the season, you're going to be like, man, I feel like he contributed a lot to our offense. But then you go back and look at his stats, and they won't impress you. Because I think he'll make like clutch blocks. I think he'll have clutch third and long screens. And I think he'll do things that make himself separate from the rest of the pack, but I don't think the stats will be there.
You think he gets that much playing time, honestly, though?
I do. He's the perfect shotgun zone running back. That's what they ran in Temple.
You think Fournette's going to let that happen?
I don't think he would let it if it was his preference, but the most games he's played was 13. And that was his best year ever. So who's going to get those other snaps? Someone's got to be in there. Blue's going to get some, but he's not.
Yeldon played a lot. Grant played a lot. There's Ivory as well. That's true.
Yeah, and I don't think
that group. It's all right. Blue played pretty well in spurts with that line. Benny Cunningham, he played well in Los Angeles.
But no one played good in Houston. They had guys like Arian Foster. It's been a while.
Arian Foster played pretty
Lamar
well.
Miller.
Lamar Miller was just never very good. He was fast.
I thought he was good.
Fantasy-wise, he was straight, but no, he was never a very good running back.
I think you're right, and there's a lot that goes into it, but I think Armstead.
We have some. We haven't talked about what's his name is. Who was the future contract we gave out? The former Seahawk, was it Michael?
Thomas Rawls.
Thomas Rawls.
What do you think about him?
He was talented. Come into the.
All right, let me ask you: how many backs do you think the Jags keep?
How many should they keep?
How many will they keep?
So there's no fullback. Maybe 4.
Okay, what 4 do they keep?
Fournette, Raquel Armstead, Blue, Cunningham.
So Rawls is making the team?
Nah.
That's the thing. I think Rawls and Cunningham fight for that last spot.
No, with Rawls being a future contract, he's got to play really well.
Yeah.
Cunningham plays. He's a really good special teamer. He's going to play a lot of roles.
So is all the backup running backs. They're all special teamers.
I don't think, but Benny Cunningham is like
Alfred Blue's probably the best special teamer amongst the group.
Benny Cunningham.
Alfred Blue had a block punt last year.
Kick returner, punt returner, plays like gunner and stuff. I mean,
but Rawls does the same thing.
Okay, well,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but if you look at this, okay, so
I'm not out there scouting every single day. That's just my
I am
very good opinion.
I am. So Rawls had no stats last year. Didn't play. Cunningham had like 130 yards.
Yeah. Going back to his Los Angeles Rams days,
but the Bears last year,
they were loaded though. At running back.
I mean, I think Cunningham gives you more in the receiving game than Rawls does, but I think Rawls gives you more as a kick returner.
No, Benny Cunningham he plays kick returner, punt returner.
So does Rawls.
No,
I think you'll see. I mean, I don't know, man. If Cunningham's on the field, I think we have a real problem.
Okay,
I do, anyways. But
another question you can bring it up was, would Corey Grant be the number 2 this season?
Before we get to that,
sorry,
it's okay.
That's my boy.
That's a good question.
Taillights.
We're gonna get to taillights here. I love Corey Grant.
My boy.
We're gonna get to him in a second. Before we do, we have to take a break.
Okay.
We're contractually obliged. I've used that. How many times have we used that phrase tonight? A lot.
3 times probably.
That's it.
Maybe you did. You love that word.
We're contractually obliged to put some commercials in, and I feel like our fan base has kind of started to like us as people. If you care about us as people, we have to roll in these ads real quick. So we have to do it. We are all over the place, and it's because of y'all. It's not because of us. It's because of you guys on Twitter, on YouTube, on all that stuff. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about...
More running back talk?
Yeah. How did you know?
Rackwell?
Corey Grant.
Maybe Corey Grant.
Corey Grant gone, all that. Listen to these ads, buy them, subscribe to them. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back to another Jags podcast, episode 71. We're talking about the running backs today. We're also watching the not fantasy. This is the actual NBA draft.
No Gator yet.
Another
Seminole.
Wait, hold on.
No Gator.
Hold on. We want to ask this trivia question to our live people listening.
Hey,
can you name the last Gator drafted?
Oof.
The last Gator drafted in the NBA.
Can we give him a hint? He was arrested.
Was he?
Yeah, wasn't he arrested with Chandler Parsons in that whole "we're not in Orlando, bro"?
Probably.
Yeah.
He seems like he hung out. But the answer is Eric Murphy in 2013. Forward Eric Murphy.
I cannot believe that. How long has Donovan been gone? 4 years? 3?
Yeah.
Damn.
4, right?
Shucks. Sorry, guys.
You would almost rather Florida have some coach that just continually got them to like the playoffs and to the championship for 40 years and could never win it. That'd be the only thing.
I'm not talking smack
that
about
would
Donovan
be
at all. I love Billy Donovan. I'm a Billy Donovan fan completely. I love Billy Donovan.
All right, that was a little joke. Mike Martin.
One of my favorite players of all time is Udonis Haslam, so I can't hate at all.
Can't hate it all, huh?
Mike Martin, 0 for 40 though. That does suck. Poor guy.
Someone on the radio was like, "It was bad luck."
That sucks.
And I was like, "Dude, luck is like."
No, someone compared it to flipping a coin 17 times and getting heads all 17 times. How does that happen? I can't believe.
It's because he's not a good.
Crazy, man.
I heard someone.
He is though.
Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this, but the biggest thing I heard about him is that he was his batting approach in the regular season didn't translate to the postseason.
I don't know.
So basically, he would have his batters sit there and take pitches and strike out on looks, but he would wear out the other team's pitcher.
But apparently, sometimes that's good though.
But in the postseason. Make sure you're talking on the mic. In the postseason, that doesn't work because the pitchers are attacking you.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting back waiting for balls and waiting to get on base, it doesn't work. Okay, let's move on. Yeah. So we're talking running backs this episode, and we kind of already talked about Leonard Fournette, and we want to get to our Twitter questions here. And
does he hit 2K all-purpose yards?
All-purpose?
Yeah.
What was he at in 2017? Like 1,400? He was at 1,000 and yeah.
Yeah. I looked it up today. How many do you think?
He's not going to get as many.
How many do you think Saquon had last year?
All-purpose?
Yeah.
22.
2017.
And Penn State?
No. At rookie year in the Giants.
Rookie year?
Yeah. 2017.
Okay.
2017 yards.
17?
Yeah. 2017 yards.
Yeah, about 17.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So Saquon had 2,000, but that was an offense that ran through him.
Yeah.
We tried to do that with Fournette.
They had Odell.
Fournette. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But he was a good player.
2K mark. I looked it up, the list of players that have hit the 2K all-purpose yards. It's pretty elite, dude.
Like who?
I mean, there's like 50 players that have done it, but like Todd Gurley's best year is 2,077 all-purpose yards. So, yeah.
All right. This next question is from Mike Yazigi.
Our boy.
And he sent me how to pronounce his name, and that was not it.
I've always known that. It's pretty common sense.
How do you pronounce it?
Yazigi.
No, that's not. He's saying it's not how you pronounce it.
Oh, shucks. I can't believe I said that right there.
Thank you.
Dang it.
But my boy Mike, who
is a Florida State fan.
Is a Florida State fan, but he's honestly a nice guy.
And
Jag, I'm in a fantasy group with him.
Yeah.
And we already had our draft as a sleeper league. And I'm excited for that draft. I think my team's pretty good. I have Leonard Fournette in that draft, so if that makes you feel any better. Okay, it's Mike Yazgi.
Oh.
Mike Yazgi.
Hit him up if you need a home.
If you need a house.
Yes.
Hit up Mike Yazgi. Yeah. He can get you in a home at a cheaper price.
Yes.
Than anyone.
Unfortunately, he's a Magic fan as well, so
he knows what it's like to wait for something good. You don't want to buy a house.
Has he waited for anything good? He's a Jag and Orlando fan. So.
Yeah, he can be patient. You don't want to buy a house. You don't want to rush when you're buying a house. It's the biggest purchase you're going to make in your life.
You can attest to that. You have a beautiful home.
Absolutely. Now. We're recording live on a couch in mine.
Good time.
But if you need a home, hit up Mike Yazgi, and you can just hit him.
I've been mispronouncing that. I feel so bad.
I don't feel bad. I was too. But you can hit him on Twitter at Mike _ and it's phonetically Yazigi 94.
Shucks.
Hit him up. He will hook. I mean, he knows the area, and
he's a local.
Yeah, he's a local.
Yeah.
If you're buying a house in Jacksonville, that's where we live. Yeah. I know we have listeners all over the country and the world, but in Jacksonville, hit up Mike Yazgi. But he asks, who will get more snaps at running back this season? Combo of Blue, Cunningham, Armstead, or Fournette by himself?
Wow. So it was
Blue, Cunningham, Armstead combined, or Fournette.
That's a lot of running backs.
I mean, not when like one of them might not make the team.
Fournette.
Yeah, Fournette. What about touches?
Fournette.
What about snaps?
Yeldon did play a lot in that, but
lot.
None of them are on his even close to his. None are they even close to his level? Even Blue?
No.
But
really, I guess the question is, do you see Fournette staying healthy?
How good is Reichwell going to be?
I think he'll be good.
How healthy is Fournette going to be?
That's the thing. Yeah. I think that's your question is health.
Has he ever been healthy? That's why none of us wanted him. I do love him. He's a cool dude, but
would you take 13 games like 2017?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is that bad or no?
It's modern football. You take what you get. I mean,
especially the running back position.
Yeah.
Especially for the way that they abused his body.
Yeah. That's why you don't take him 4 overall.
A guy like Fournette.
Who did you want that year? I guess. Well, I can't say much. I was kind of talked into Solomon Thomas because he was that freak athlete. Yeah. So it's
I wanted Fournette.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
I'd rather have had Dalvin Cook in like the second.
Yeah, I think I was more of a Dalvin Cook fan too myself.
I know a lot of people talk about quarterbacks. I don't really remember us talking about Deshaun, Patrick. Nah.
Mahomes.
Yeah, any of them. I don't think
Mahomes didn't have any hype. People that say that we should have taken him, like no one was talking about him.
More people talked about Kaiser, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Deshaun Watson though.
Yeah,
I was a big Deshaun Watson fan.
Yeah. Poor knees though.
Yeah, but I mean, I say snaps. I think Fournette gets all of it. I'm hoping he stays healthy.
He has to. He knows he has to.
I just can't get. I mean, do you think the fact that he has never played out of shotgun? I already asked this, but like,
no, I don't think that matters at all.
It's a different running style though. If you watch these backs that run out of shotgun, they're getting the ball quick and they have to be patient to see a hole. When you're under center and you're playing running back behind the quarterback, you're getting the handoff and you're basically reading 2 gaps.
AP's always been that way. He's always been bad at the shotgun. I mean,
it's interesting to see what'll happen, and that's why Blue wasn't a guy who played out of shotgun either.
Yeah, they're both LSU boys, so I mean,
Armstead really has been the guy that has the most experience.
There's a lot of pistol and shotgun, yeah.
So I'm excited to see. All right, we teased Corey Grant a little bit.
Yeah, I miss my boy.
And so we got a question from Zach Morgan, and he's at ZMorgan904.
Yeah.
And he says, if on the roster, would Corey Grant be the number 2 back?
Yeah. Would he? I keep hearing all about this Liz Frank injury. Did Hollywood Brown not just get drafted, like, what was he, 20th overall? He just had the same injury. So he's a small dude. And this is like a career ender. He literally just got drafted top 20. So
Liz Franks can be career enders though.
I mean, it did. I
remember how long
Stone-Shrew.
Yeah, MJD had a Liz Frank for a year and a half.
What's his name from Florida State? Brandon Jenkins. He was supposed to have a big year. That's the first person I remember. The Liz Frank. Yeah.
Honestly, and here's what I think. I think that Corey Grant would have been a number 2.
He's a beast
on
man.
this roster, but I think Raquel Armstead will be better than Corey Grant. That's what I think.
I think he's a little bit bigger,
faster.
And he's definitely not faster. Corey Grant ran that like a 4.2, so he's definitely not faster, but better pass protector. Corey Grant was a pretty good special teams player.
You never see Corey Grant get up to speed though out of the backfield. You see him on like special teams.
You've seen him hit it. You remember all this fake 4th and down plays?
That's what I'm saying. Like he's an open field guy. I feel like open field guys and running backs are different speed. Like
quicker than fast.
Like Percy Harvin, open field guy.
He was both, dude. There's nothing.
He was
there's
both.
Not a lot of players like Percy,
but Percy was like an open field guy. Like you wanted to get him the ball.
He accelerated pretty fast, dude.
But then there's running backs, and I would almost argue that Fournette is almost like healthy is the guy you want.
Yeah, of course he is. That's why we drafted him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The year we went to the Super Bowl, he had the top 2 fastest speeds in the NFL at 240. He's a freak.
Yeah, that's what I think. There's different types of speed. Yeah, Corey Grant's faster in the open field, but I think Raquel Armstead is better at moving laterally, seeing the gap, and hitting the gap and getting upfield. Okay, and that's why I think that.
Corey Grant was an undrafted gem we found. So for what we got out of him and he's a good player. He absolutely is a good player. Yeah.
So do you think he's the number 2 on this roster?
I think he could compete for number 2.
Yeah, I do too.
But what is he? I mean, no, there's a reason that they drafted Raquel Armstead 5th round. There's a reason Corey Grant. I do love Corey Grant. Who knows? There might be a reunion one day.
Probably not. That doesn't usually happen in the running back position.
I'm calling it now.
I've noticed. All right, so this question is from Patrick Jackson.
I heard we're bringing back Toby Gerhardt as well.
What do you mean bringing back? Oh, no.
That would suck.
Who's your most hated Jag of all time?
Who's my most... Oh, that's not even a question. I want to hear yours first before I give my good answer away.
Wait, before you give your good answer away?
Yeah. Because it's a number 1 unanimous player.
Yeah, well,
hated.
Who's the free agent that talked crap about us?
That's my answer.
Yeah, what's his name?
Hugh Douglas.
Yes. Hugh Douglas.
He literally put his Twitter profile. It was played in New York, vacation in Jacksonville. So yeah, I can't stand him. And then he beat his wife on ESPN. So that's super awesome. Yeah.
Outside of him, who's your most hated?
Free agent signing?
No, let's just say Jaguar of all time.
Oh, Jaguar. Sorry. It's a tough one. I don't hate a lot of players, but once they're gone, I wasn't sad to see Cyprien gone, Reggie Nelson, but most hated. That's a tough one. Who do we hate?
For me, it was more about how I felt during and how I felt after. How I felt during, I did not like Byron Leftwich.
Why?
I don't know, because I just had
It was never his fault. It was Jack Del Rio's fault, if anything. He couldn't control a locker room.
I mean, I feel like you give that same excuse to Bortles if you wanted to.
There was no competition. Byron left. There's a reason. All right, so you remember the Patriots lost that Byron Leftwich broke his ankle. David Garrard led us to the playoffs, and they ended up starting. Yeah. A lot of that's on Del Rio. I mean, I think Garrard, a lot of times he proved.
But I think you could have said you could say this, I mean, when you look back in history, you could say a lot of Bortles was on Gus Bradley, couldn't you?
Yeah, but there was never a backup quarterback that was competing like Garrard was winning these games. He brought us to the playoffs a bunch of times, played well in spots.
Yeah, I mean,
I like Leftwich, but I mean that slow release.
So that slow release,
was never gonna happen.
No,
never.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
So that was during. I would say after the fact, Justin Blackmon.
No, I don't. I feel for him actually. I mean, he's obviously got a disease. We loved him, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He loved football, and
that's what I'm saying. I loved him so much while he was there. I was so disappointed he didn't pan out, because I would have bet my life savings that he would have been a good NFL wide
I wonder
receiver.
how much that girl dying put pressure on him. I always see that interview of that girl dying of cancer, and the way he's been since, man.
You gotta fill people in. Who is this girl?
It was during his senior year. There was like this E60 about a girl dying of cancer.
Was it like a Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Yeah, Make-A-Wish girl. Yeah. And Justin Blackman, she ended up dying like that year. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but we've talked to a buddy that played with him at Oklahoma State, and he just doesn't have the love for the game anymore. So it could be from a lot of issues. And we didn't do a good job of scouting. Apparently, like the alcohol issues were well known. So
that doesn't make. Yeah, I mean, he just had so much potential. It's so sad to see.
Blaine Gabbert passing to Justin Blackman. What could have been?
Blackman was.
Unfortunately, they both were not very.
Blackman was one of the top players of like what could have been.
That one game versus there was two that he had. It was like two. It was Texans 250 yards and the Patriots went for 200.
Yeah,
man, that was awesome.
I was so hyped for him, and that's why he's my after the fact.
College, oh my God, he was so good in college.
Yeah. Blitnikoff winner.
Yeah, man, back to back Blitnikoff.
Yeah, I mean,
that does not work out well for us.
Yeah, but that's the only thing because he was so good.
Good.
But so did you think of yours by now? I'm giving you.
I don't really hate them, but like, who do I hate the most? I was never really a fan of Kyle Brady for like unrational reasons. I don't remember why, but who were mean people? Dante Fowler was just kind of a not nice person, not hated.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things you forget
not to
about
be that guy that hates the players. Like that's, I mean,
not like hate. Like
no, I feel you disliked.
Sense.
I feel you like
All right.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, probably what's his name? Hugh Douglas.
So that's unanimous. All right, so this question from Patrick Jackson. And I feel bad because Pat always gets like the last question of the podcast because his questions are good, but they don't really like fit with like our conversation. So he ends up being at the end, but we love his questions the most. So it's like we feel bad, but it's like we love his questions kind of thing. But he's at radius_Johansson. And he says, I'm confused about the Telvin situation. If he said he's taking a year away without pay and we've accepted that, how can we then fine him for not showing up and his no-show was pre-agreed, right?
I don't think it was pre-agreed at all because they haven't talked to him.
So why can Telvin get upset then?
I think.
By what grounds does Telvin
he's not upset. I don't think he is upset.
He didn't say anything about him being fined?
No, he said it's all love Jacksonville was actually his tweet caption. Or
was that after he was fined?
Yeah. He that's how it came out. I saw it was he took a picture of his fine. He said it's all love Jacksonville. It was in his Instagram story. So he could be very sarcastic, but I mean.
What a weird situation. Mike here is a huge FSU fan, and he's probably loved Telvin more than anyone I know.
Yeah.
So give us your insight on the Telvin situation.
I mean, we've talked to Florida State fans. Like, it's not the Telvin we've seen. He's always been like the hype leader. You've seen like the halftime interviews he does. He's always 150%. So it's obviously something pretty serious. He's got. I hope it's not CTE. I'm not going to speculate. Obviously, I don't know much, but. I hope he gets it right. But the way he hasn't spoken to the coaches at all, is he going to come back by training camp? I keep saying that. Do you think he comes back by training camp?
I don't think he comes back. I don't think he ever comes back.
Do you, by choice or by us not letting him not wanting to?
I can see a situation where he tries to come back next year and he's totally fallen off his game and he's just pathetic. And
he's still young. He's like 27, 28 right now.
But, I mean, this is a high skill demand
1 year
sport.
off is still.
That's big.
It happens, yeah.
I mean, you look at guys that are training year-round with being off the game, and they come back and they just get injured.
How does that affect Le'Veon Bell? He hasn't played in a year.
I'd be interested to see his durability because, like I was saying, his injury concern is the biggest thing for people that take time off. It's not so much does their skill drop off. Like, probably not. These guys are training.
There's no healing over that year at all? You don't think that works that way?
I think that
you get soft.
You have to, like, keep... It's kind of like, let's say you work... at a hospital and you're there every single day and your immune system's like fights these pathogens day after day after day. Then you take 8 months off and you come back. Do you think you're going to get sick when you come back? Probably.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's because your body's used to doing this day in and day out. It builds up like a system.
Okay.
And when you come back to football, you can be working out in the gym all day long, but until you're taking live bullets, shots at your
Bryant
knees,
took like 4 months off and
look
tore
what
that Achilles.
happened.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying,
You can't
dude.
simulate that practice.
It's not so much that the skill falls off. It's like you're just not the same person.
Your body.
Like, yeah. And so I hope the best for Telvin.
I love Telvin.
I do too, man. Look,
Good dude.
I love Telvin, dude. Like you said, he's the 150%. He's the energy. He's the
10
hype.
toes down. He's always said that.
He's the dude. Him and Miles Jack in your linebacking core is like what you want in a linebacking core.
God, we'd be so good this year with him. That sucks.
But like you said, man, you just have to worry about his like brain at this point.
Yeah, maybe his brother did die. I think it was 20. Yeah, so life's hard, man. So I try not to judge too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we pray for him, and we hope that
I hope he comes back, man. I'll never. Him pointing at Le'Veon Bell after that. Roethlisberger
and getting flagged for that.
Oh my god,
that was amazing.
One of the greatest seasons of my life. One of my favorite members. Yeah, that was awesome.
No, that was good. Well,
that was funny.
Before we end, Anid Amian on YouTube says,
"What?
Anid Amian? That's his name. Anid Amin."
No, we're ending.
Before we end,
It's early. What are you talking about?
we gotta take a break if you want to keep going.
Okay.
You want to take a break and keep going?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, this is apparently gonna be a long pod because I guess
Running backs, right?
I guess we're going running backs.
Okay.
So we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back. So we'll be right back. Before we get to our YouTube question, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back. And we're back to episode 61 of another Jags podcast.
We were like on 69 2 weeks ago.
71. Episode 71 of another Jags
Come on,
podcast.
bro.
Mike wanted to extend the episode a little bit.
Yeah.
Brought to you by our beautiful sponsors, Overtime
God.
Network.
Who was this magic pick one more time? I keep looking at his name. What was it?
Ateni? Or what was it?
Oh, man. Shamu something. Good
Shamu
Lord.
Ateni?
Sorry. We should trade picks. They were both horrible.
Evan Fournier had an interesting tweet about how, like,
He's going to Europe?
he said,
hopefully?
like, not for long or something like that.
Jesus.
So I'm thinking that Fournette's going to be packaged with the pick and they get sent to maybe the Knicks for Mario Hezonja. This is a Jaguars
That would be
podcast.
fitting,
We're going to
yeah.
get a lot of complaints about this not being about the Jags.
Locked on Mad Jake Jack.
Locked on Magic. This is going to be us soon. So what did you want to add about the running backs?
Fournette, he's getting hated on so much. I mean, we've heard about Foles stopping over at his house. How well do you think he'll play with Foles?
I don't know, man. I've never seen Foles work with a back that wasn't a receiving back. I mean,
In this situation, I mean, he played with...
Jay Ajayi was pretty good with him. LeGarrette Blount was pretty good with him.
Yeah.
So is he a better version of LeGarrette Blount?
But he's a much... I mean, I would say a much better... LeGarrette Blount had a few good 1,000-yard seasons there.
Well, LeGarrette Blount's a good back, but
19 touchdowns one season, right?
I'm talking about the year that he won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
What are you expecting out of Fournette versus what you saw out of
Is this the
LeGarrette
best
Blount?
running game that Foles has ever had
No. I would rather have Sproles and Ajayi, wouldn't you?
with that offensive line?
Yeah. Take out the offensive line. Let's just say Sproles and Ajayi. Isn't that the best offensive? Isn't that the best running back
Sproles,
group?
I mean, I don't know how much Sproles played that year. I think he had like a torn ACL and like a... It was Ajayi and Blount. They both played pretty well.
No, not in 2017. Ajayi was traded in 2018, wasn't he? I think it was Blunt and Smallwood.
It was Wendell Smallwood. Oh Jesus! It was Wendell Smallwood. Who else did they had? Josh Adams.
Wasn't there like a Coleman, like Corey Coleman? Not Corey Coleman, but like I don't know.
They had like
Yeah,
10
Adams.
running backs.
But yeah, so I would say he's pretty good. I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Doug Marrone has lost control of the locker room?
Are you talking about that athletic article?
Yeah. I mean,
Jesus.
athletic. That's your. I mean,
I
you're the
do-
biggest
I-
athletic fan I've ever met.
Oh, the biggest.
You are.
I do
you are the
subscri-
biggest
I do-
athletic fan I've ever met. What do you mean? Was that surprising to you?
So the one person you know with a subscription is what you mean?
Maybe.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Has Doug Marrone lost control of the locker room?
No, I don't think he did. How many trades are we going to see with Jalen Ramsey? It's not going to happen. He's going to get paid. Yannick Ngakoue is going to get paid. Miles Jack's probably gone.
That's so sad.
I love Miles Jack. Hopefully, Telvin Smith's money goes into his.
Yeah, I mean, who'd you rather have, Telvin or Miles?
Miles Jack, of course.
Yeah.
Only because he's younger and is playing right now. I love Miles Jack.
Yeah, I do too, man. There's no way they keep all three.
It's a lot of money. I keep seeing I see a lot of Jags Twitter talking about Calais Campbell being gone next year. Do you think he's gonna be gone?
I think they'll value Miles Jack over Calais Campbell.
You think so?
Yeah.
Calais
Why do you think they draft Josh Allen and Taven Bryan? I think it's
Yannick Ngakoue. Maybe Yannick's gone. Maybe it's Jalen Ramsey and Miles Jack.
I don't know, man. I mean, I like Ngakoue,
Calais
but
Campbell, the past 2 years, it might be the best 2 years he's had. All pro levels both years.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
When we paid all that money for him, I was like, "Wow, that's a lot of money for a D lineman."
I mean, it was pretty high, but I mean,
What do you mean it was pretty high? Wasn't it like 15 and a half a year?
It was like it goes up from 13 to 15. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
He's such a beast, though.
No, it's worth it now. But when we signed him, did you think he was going to play to that level
of
what he's doing now?
First team All Pro? No,
not any of that.
Defensive end is so competitive. He was first team All Pro. He was first team All Pro and second team All Pro in the same season. He's a beast, man. I did not envision that. I thought he would be real. I mean, I thought he would be what he was in Arizona, a really good player, like a fringe Pro Bowler and all that. He's so good.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Yeah, but he is aging.
Last year arguably was his best year. His sack numbers were down, but his run defense was like maybe the best it's ever been.
I mean,
Marcel Darius is definitely gone next year. $20 million.
Oh,
yeah.
I just get concerned because it's looking like out of DeMarcus Lawrence, Frank Clark.
They're both paid.
All those guys, I feel like Ngakoue is not as good as them, and he's going to get more money than them. His pressure rate was down.
Barely, because
not down. I'm saying compared to those guys.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
They are. He didn't have as good pressure efficiency rating. He didn't have as many pressures as those guys.
I don't think
he didn't have as many sacks as those guys. He was way worse against the run than those guys, and he's looking at getting paid more than those guys.
I think it was J.P. Shadrick. They compared.
Oh, the guy who didn't know who Jaromir Jagr was.
I mean, not many people do. And it was their fourth year numbers compared to Yannick's, and they're still pretty good. Look at their first 3 years, man. Yannick Ngakoue, every single category, he's in the top 10.
That's because he had like an ungodly rookie year.
He had 8 sacks his rookie year.
He had an ungodly second year.
12 sacks his sophomore year.
But last year was a drop-off.
He had 9.5 last year.
Yeah, but he was terrible against the run.
Oh, my gosh. Terrible against the run.
Yes, he was. Why are we just discounting his run playability?
I think the interior was worse. Malik Jackson is gone for a reason.
And the linebackers were worse too, but Ngakoue was worse too.
I think
Telvin. On a team that...
The very worst, he's a top 10 defensive end.
Only because of his age.
No.
Not on skill.
You're
right. He is on skill. You're right. But
this is coming from the kid that wanted to take Hawkinson over Josh Allen, everybody. I'm sorry.
I want him to get paid, but it just makes me feel a little weird to think he's going to get paid more than Frank Clark and DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence has had 2 good years and has a back injury. Like, why?
Yeah, but DeMarcus Lawrence is a beast.
I mean, he's got more publicity. And that's all he has over Yannick Ngakoue.
And I don't think...
being on the Cowboys.
He's a better player.
No.
He's a better player.
No.
His PFF grades are better in every category. He's better...
Mr. Anti-PFF.
Yeah, well, here you go. And he's better across the board.
I love Yannick. Pay him whatever. Give him $100 million right now. I don't care.
I don't know, man. I want Ngakoue as much as anybody. I get caught up with.
Dude, he's
going to be the highest paid D end. Is he the highest paid D end?
He's not going to be the highest paid D end.
Who gets paid more?
What
does Von Miller make?
Miller will be re-up soon.
Okay.
And Yannick's not going to touch Khalil Mack money.
Okay, so besides Khalil Mack, who is just a god, Ngakoue's going to be second.
Von Miller will get re-up soon.
Talk in the mic if you're going to talk.
Don't talk to me like that. I'm just kidding. Von Miller's going to get re-up soon. Who else is going to get re-up soon?
But he's in that.
JJ Watt's up for a contract renewal.
He's not going to get paid that though.
He had 16 sacks last year.
He had a good year last year, but he's not going to get what Ngakoue gets.
You don't think JJ Watt will?
I don't think so.
With those injuries?
Just because of his age and injuries. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, like a part of me wants to kind of roll the dice on Josh Allen.
Nah. You can never have too much pass rush these days. He's literally Josh Allen is going to be the Fowler role. What's the difference? He's on a.
Because Josh Allen, what if Josh Allen can be the Ngakoue role?
Why not have both?
Because then who's gonna?
Calais Campbell's gone in the next year or two.
But do you need a bigger guy on that end?
Change your system. They changed the big end role.
But then you have to change your tackle. You have to change your linebacker. You have to change how deep your safety lines up.
All that changes. What defensive tackle would they have to change?
Your strong side end.
Have to get bigger? What do you mean?
Yeah, what makes Calais Campbell good is the fact that he can take on a double team and the fact that he can take on a blocker and keep his shoulder free.
Think about the 2007 Del Rio teams. You had those big John Henderson, Marcus Stroud. Who were our defense ends? They weren't big. They were those lean, fast pass rushers.
But your linebackers were guys like
Darryl Smith.
You had Mike Peterson.
Yeah.
You had those big linebackers that could fill the gap. And so I'm saying you can't be small everywhere. We're small everywhere.
But Telvin's gone. You don't think we're going to get bigger?
Ooh.
Come on, Quentin.
Josh Allen taking those snaps?
Quincy Williams.
Quincy Williams is small.
He's like 5'11". Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
He could be our outside linebacker.
Look what the Patriots did against the Rams.
Got big.
They ran the ball down their throats. Yeah. If you get big against the Jags, what are we going to do?
Jake Ryan came in. We've gotten bigger.
One knee Ryan.
Who was that defensive tackle we just signed? The old, the first rounder from the Packers.
If he makes the team, I'll be surprised.
He's got some talent. He's a big boy.
What I'm saying is we're not big anywhere.
I think we have. We added him. We added some big boys. Jake Ryan, middle linebacker.
Those guys are going to play less than 20% of snaps.
Jake Ryan's going to play more than 20% of the snaps.
Is he? How healthy is he? If we can count on Jake Ryan being 100% healthy, he'll play at the max 33% of the snaps.
If you talk to some of the locked on people, he's starting right now.
Stop.
You're saying.
Stop. I know we're deep into the podcast, but we can't start that now.
Just saying he's going to start is all I've heard. He's fantastic from everything I've heard.
I'm rooting. Look, I don't want people to get confused with. I'm rooting for the best. I just haven't seen certain things work, and I'm going to be cautiously optimistic until I see certain things work. Playing small in defense, I haven't seen work. And if we replace Calais Campbell with Josh Allen, and we're still small at
both
linebacker,
are going to be on the teams next year. They'll both be on the team.
Campbell and Allen, you think so?
Yeah.
Getting Campbell's back.
Yeah, I think he'll get restructured. So Boye, dude, the salary cap is a myth. We've seen that time and time again.
It's not that it's a myth. It's that these owners can go into luxury if they choose.
They can rework it. I mean, when's the last time how often do you lose a player because of salary cap reasons?
All the time.
Who?
People could argue Khalil Mack got lost to the Raiders because of salary cap reasons.
Because of salary cap, because of cash flow issues.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, it happens though.
Look at his haircut. Come on.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add about the running back position?
I'm excited for Fournette and DeFillippo.
Where's the highest you would pick him in fantasy?
I saw what was the tweet for PFF? He was top 40.
I'm not going to tell you. Tell me where you would pick him.
I can't believe it was even a question. Him or D.D. Westbrook. That was never a question. Where would I take Fournette in a draft? Well, I took Le'Veon Bell #1 last year, so it's not saying too much.
Nice, good pick.
Yeah, remember that draft with Darren? What was that? It was the first time we did. It was a.
Nope. Are you gonna answer the question? Where did you take Fournette?
Top 50.
Top 50?
Yeah.
So if you're picking 20, would you take Fournette if he's there?
Yeah, just depends who's there. Wide receivers deep, running backs. Now that there's a.
Would you? Okay, so at what point would you not have to look at who's there and you would take Fournette?
Who would you rather?
It's like at what number?
Fournette,
if you're at 30,
someone has to get the touches in Jacksonville. It's not going to be our number one receiver.
If you have the 30th pick and Fournette's there, are you taking them without looking at the pack?
Without looking at it, probably not.
At 50, are you taking Fournette without looking at the pack?
Probably, yeah, because I'm a homer.
What if based off of stats? 50?
I think he's going to do well with DeFillippo.
I think he's a top 20 back this year.
Of course he's a top 20 back.
PFF has him at 20. Or no, I'm sorry. PFF has him at 18.
Player.
That's 18.
He was only 18th player or running back.
18th player.
Yeah.
fantasy player. So I would take him there. I am a homer, so I would take him top 10 because I'm a homer.
Top 10? Nah, I wouldn't touch him that early.
I have a thing with taking Jags running backs, and I'm willing to die on that hill. So I'm not a good person to ask.
We always seem to draft like 12th, and then we get the first pick of the second round. So, yeah, I could see picking Fournette that early.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to wrap it up for us. I think we're getting close to an hour here. Thanks for listening. We're going to try to put another episode out soon.
Sunday?
We're going to try to put an episode out Sunday. So we're going to try to do this thing where we're putting out 2 episodes a week. So be looking for that. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. We're on YouTube Live, Another Jags Podcast. Just Google that for the first thing that comes up. You can watch our live episode of us chilling on a couch, laughing at each other.
2 dudes on a couch.
2 dudes on a couch. Or you can just listen to it on YouTube. Either way. But we're part of the Overtime Podcast Network. We're part of the Big Cat Country Podcast Network.
Did Bobo just get drafted?
They're showing highlights of him. So
Jeez Louise.
Looking like him. It's pretty late here. What are we, round 2, pick 41?
Seriously. Is this the G League draft? I think I might have missed it.
Bull will probably dominate the G League.
He would.
So, but thank you guys.
32-10.
Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you guys for your comments. Send it to us, and we will make sure to read them on the next podcast. Be looking for it on Sunday or Wednesday. We'll be out there whenever. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, go Jags.